Hey guys, Martial Arts Militia here. My name is Matthew, and today's video is going to be a second range report on the H&K USP9C. So as this is a second range report, I gave the P2000 a second chance, and now we're giving the USP9C a second chance. I basically couldn't decide which gun I wanted to keep since they both were somewhat similar to each other to a degree. And so I figured now that I chose the P30SK over the P2000SK, even though it wasn't an option, but just looking at it back, I would have bought the P30SK anyways. It kind of puts the USP9C and the P2000 in the same category. And so I didn't see the point in having them both, and so I was kind of just testing them out, seeing which one I would keep one over the other. The only bias advantage is that with the USP9C, you can change out its the inner parts here, and you can make it from like a DAO, SAO, some kind of like LEM trigger. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. It had a lot of options, whereas the P2000 really didn't. And so with the range reports, the P2000, I think that one did have a lot of issues. Just firing 9mm 115 grain standard, nothing special. Even the second range report in the P2000, so it had an advantage now of being lubricated because I shoot the guns dry first with nothing, and so with the P2000 it was a problem either way. With or without lube, it was a problem. It had a lot of I think failures to eject and possibly some failures to feed. The USP9C, I think on the first range report, I don't recall it having any problems. It may have had one or two at most, but pretty much none, and that of course would have been dry. And then of course with this range report, it got cleaned, lubricated, so now it has a more advanced chance of succeeding, even though it already did without the lubrication. Now I did buy some pig gloves, these right here. There are two kinds, the Alpha and the Delta. The Delta is new, it's more utility compared to the Alpha. But after watching a couple of videos on YouTube, I kind of decided to go with the Delta. It just seemed a little bit more, I wouldn't say like has better work to it, but it seemed to have scaled down more to specific use, so it's more direct for what its purpose is. Now, of course, why go to shooting gloves? Well, usually with shooting 300 rounds or anything above that, my finger gets tired, and so at that point, all the shots are not my best shots, right? Basically, it's like a torture test. How long can I keep shooting, type of a thing. Very similar to martial arts, where you punch and you kick, but you don't do it when you're tired. Otherwise, you're learning the wrong technique, right? You kind of do it when you're almost 100%, at least as 100% as possible. And so I thought these gloves would kind of help delay some of that fatigue, so that my shots were better representative of my skill, rather than me just getting tired. They do have a couple of sizes here on the Pig website. You go from probably medium to large, extra large. They have a nice chart and graph, and it kind of shows you based on the length of your hand and the width of it, which one fits. And in my case, I was pretty good fit for large. So that's the type that I bought here. Now initially, it is kind of tough to put on, but you do have these little cords you can pull on, kind of help with that. So that's kind of nice, they have it on both of them, so it's probably supposed to be a tight fit, so I wouldn't really consider it a bad thing if it's not. So just follow the website, make sure you measure your hand correctly, and go with the one that fits for you. Now for this range report, of course, I am going to continue shooting from 3 yards in order to make that target bigger, bigger, and bigger, and then I can push it back further and further. And of course, my employment test, or the gun toting test, that one is from up to 25 yards. It's probably a big target you gotta hit, and I probably can already do it, but I just want to practice for it. So again, I just shoot really close to 3 yards to make that target as big as possible, and I push them on back. I think probably 15 yards is how far I've gotten back so far, and somewhat doing pretty well at keeping it in the center. Now the ammo I bought was MagTech 9mm 115 grain, 250 rounds. And then the target, I actually bought some targets because the targets are $2 at the range, and that's probably a good price. But I looked online, and I think I got like a 100 pack, and it was like maybe $1.10. So it's a lot cheaper per. Plus, I'm gonna keep training anyway, so there's a good reason to invest. But there are these high wild targets, and I was afraid it was a little small, but it's actually 23 by 35, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's no different than the ones that I would pay $2 at the range. So starting off with here, I just focused on the main target. So this red guy right here, 3 yards, just shot, make sure it's a bigger hole. And then I was like, okay, I'll go back 5 yards, I'll go back 10 yards. And then 15 was pretty much where I ended it at. My worst ones are, of course, are down here. There's about 3 to 4 of them. I mean, this is probably a flyer, I would hope, but these are just kind of like 4 really bad shots out of 250. I think that's not too bad to complain about. As far as the performance, the USP9C had no malfunctions. Nothing went wrong. Nothing went wrong at all. It was 100% perfect, no flaws. I think I'll have to recheck, but I think the first range report for USP9C was the same thing. Basically, no problems, no matter what. So it pretty much passed with flying colors. I'm pretty convinced now that this is the gun I'm going to keep, and I'm most likely going to sell the P2000. I do want to make a quick note on that. That doesn't mean that the USP9C is better than the P2000. It means that my P2000 was probably made on a Monday and a Friday, and this USP9C was made on a Wednesday. Now the notation with that is that, you know, people go to work, I go to work, you go to work, and I don't think Monday and Friday is our best work, right? Because we don't want to be there, we want to go home. And then Wednesday is our best work because we're in the middle, we're kind of gotten back into the flow of things. That's how I interpret it, okay? I could very well buy another P2000 and that would be flawless. I can go buy a USP9C and it would be really bad, just like the P2000. It doesn't mean anything, okay? If you actually watch my videos, I make that clear every single time I get a good gun and a bad gun. I never just blame the company. Unless it was made in China or Mexico, then it's probably pretty bad. But other than that, it's one-by-one basis, okay? And if you really like the gun and you got a bad one made on a Monday and a Friday, I'm sure you could, you could sell that, hopefully get 80% back and buy another one. Try again, you know? Or maybe talk to the company and they'll fix it most likely, you know? So if you really want it, don't just, you know, say it's bad. Just say, this is my example and it wasn't good. Or this is my example and it was a good one. That's it. So yes, you can go back to the manufacturer, hope they fix it, or just sell it and try again, right? Now for the range with the pig gloves, what I noticed was that when I tried to do the double action, which I usually have a pretty good finger in double action because I train push-ups on my fingers, one arm, it was a lot harder to do. I don't know if because there's more material here, it's getting too much in the way when I do double action. So it's not as it's not as comfortable. It's not as comfortable as I would normally shoot, you know. So I would just go ahead and double action, and after like 10 times, I found that uncomfortable, right? Whereas you guys have seen me shoot double action plenty of times before. You know, raw hand is like it's no problem, you know. So I don't know if it's just like better, you know, real gripping to where the double action isn't bothering me, but with the gloves they kind of do. So I don't know, something for you to consider if you think that's a big deal or not. Now I would say that the pig gloves did help in the sense that all the way from shot 1 to 250, I was not tired at all. Honestly, if I had 500 rounds, I probably would have went through the whole 500 rounds. It's no problem at all. So if you're having difficulty trying to get a high round count, and I didn't feel fatigued or my skill was going down at all or tired, like everything was good, you know. Maybe it's just my training, I don't know, but I would have to give some credit here to the gloves. I think they had something to do with it. Let's see, what else is there to say? Well, I got done in 30 minutes. So with working in corrections, law enforcement, we get unlimited range time on Mondays. Military and law enforcement both get unlimited time. So before, when I had to rush all my bullets in 30 minutes, I don't have to anymore. I can literally just like take my shots and sit there and relax, wait 5 minutes. Not if it's crowded, that's just me. But if it's like just me, plenty of space, then yeah, I can just sit there and not do anything. But I found like I just didn't want to, you know, like I would take my shots and I'd be tired. Sure, I'd be tired, but then like I didn't want to just like sit here for 5 minutes. I would just be like, okay, well, let's just keep shooting, you know. So I just kept doing that, and I was done in 30 minutes, 250 rounds. So again, that was really quick. I wasn't trying to. I was trying to, like, relax, sit around, wait a little bit, but I don't know, I couldn't do it. I was just too restless. Maybe that was the gloves, or maybe I'm actually getting stronger. I'm not sure, but I think maybe it had something to do with the gloves. Yeah, the fatigue is just not the same when you don't have the gloves. But yeah, that's all I got to say. I think the gloves were fantastic. I think they do very well. Probably look like a dork at the range, but whatever, it's fine. It works for me. USP9C, that's the one I'm keeping. I'm probably gonna sell the P2000. As for the next range report, well, I was thinking of the P320, but I don't want to get shot. I don't want they're gonna shoot me, but also, like, I don't really see the point. I mean, I don't know. I think that I think SIG did some shady stuff with that, and I think we all know it doesn't really matter to be proven anymore. Otherwise, I'm thinking of shooting the PX4 Storm. That's a good one. Had that for a couple of years, and of course, never shot it. But that's another ambi gun that I like. You can train both weak hand and strong hand. So we'll see what goes on. My range reports are going to be every 2 weeks because, again, my work schedule is rotating. So one is going to be I work on that Monday, I can't go shoot. Then the other Monday I can, and then I can, and then I can. So it's going to be bi-weekly. Oh, I also got to get to the 357s. I want to shoot 357s because they just came out. Henry just came out with the dead shot revolver, and it's basically their big boy revolver, but it has sights. That's it. That's the only difference. Probably something I should have done in the first place, but yeah, I have to shoot the big boy revolver, so you want to keep that. I still got to shoot the Colt Detective Special because that came back from being repaired. So I got to buy some 38s, buy some 357s, hopefully get that going on the range report, and yeah, life's going pretty good. So I will go ahead and roll the range footage here for you guys. USP9C, second range report. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time, okay? Bye now.
That's so weird.
There you go. Good.
Yeah, good.
That's your mouse, yeah. What happened?
on. Oh, wait, not yet?
You learned martial arts! Martial arts, good!